My name is Greg Hoffmann. I am a three-time walker in Arizona 3-day. I love you people. And I am the very proud husband of a breast cancer survivor. Now I've got 30 seconds tonight to talk to you about somebody I could spend the next 30 years talking about. I met our speaker 4 years ago. I was minding my own business in a restaurant with a group of friends, and she came up to my table and asked if she could tell us a little bit about something we had never heard of, the breast cancer 3-day. Now allow me a moment of self-confession here. She was really cute. And I was really single. So there was no way I was going to say no to this girl, so I invited her to our table and she sat down and told us a very compelling story about the breast cancer 3-day and why she walked, including the fact that she was a survivor. Well, folks, I was impressed. So I gave her my business card and I said, you send me a link via email to your contribution page and I'll be more than happy to contribute. And I got home that night, checked my inbox, and sure enough, from her was that email with the link to her contribution page. And that just further impressed me that there was no saying no to this woman. And since she was really cute and I was really single, I contributed. And it was a small contribution, nothing to write home about. But from that contribution, a friendship was formed. And that friendship bloomed into a romance. In 2007, we stood in the sculpture garden in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and exchanged vows. And folks, I'm going to tell you, she wasn't just cute, she was beautiful. And I was no longer single. And now, by the way, there's absolutely no saying no to this girl. And that's just a small part of our story. And here to tell you the rest is my best friend, the love of my life, my thriver, Jen Hoffmann.
I don't know what he's talking about. He says no all the time. I am very proud to be here with you all today. This is actually my 5th year walking the breast cancer 3-day. Thank you. And I've been asked to tell you a little bit about why I walk. As Greg mentioned, I am a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in 2000 with infiltrating ductal carcinoma, which thankfully had not spread to the lymph nodes. I had no family history, and I was 28 years old. So as you can imagine, it was pretty much of a shock, but I did what I tended to do. I put my blinders on and I barreled through what was ahead of me, which at that point included a lumpectomy, a mastectomy, and 4 rounds of adriamycin and Cytoxan. So at the end of it all, I picked my head up, looked back around, and found myself a little shell-shocked, to say the least. I was bald, I had no boob, but I was ready to put it behind me and get on with the business of living. And for the next 7 years, that's exactly what I did, making quite a few changes along the way. Now, Greg told you we got married in April of 2007, and that was just a couple of weeks after we had gotten a clean PET scan from my oncologist, so it was a perfect time to start the next chapter of our lives. What he didn't tell you was that 3 months later, we found out it had come back. Except this time, it had metastasized to the liver and the ovaries. So instead, Greg and I got to listen that time to my oncologist tell us that it was now stage 4. And as you all know, there is no stage 5. But after the last year and a half, I've got to tell you, we prefer to call it stage Thrive. So this time I was looking at treatment again, which included 21 weeks of weekly Taxotere and Herceptin since I was HER2 positive. And once again, I got to see what I look like bald. And if any of you were here last year, you also got to see what I look like bald, as last year's 3-day fell directly between treatment number 13 and number 14. But I gotta tell you, we were here, I did it, and I'm proud to say I walked every single mile. Along the way, we actually also had the experience to climb Mount Whitney, which is out in the Sierra Nevadas in California. Thank you, some of you know where it is. And that's the highest point in the lower 48 states. So 2 days after my second round of chemo, we got to stand on top of the world at 14,497 feet. I think that experience was as valuable towards my treatment as some of those infusions I was given. So finally chemo ended. At the end of December, and I had surgery in January to remove my ovaries, which at that time were the size of oranges. And shortly after that, we got reacquainted with a friend of ours that we like to call Ned. No evidence of disease. Days before our first wedding anniversary this past year, we got the report from my oncologist that said that it looked like it was all gone. And a follow-up scan in August, just this past August, we were sitting in the exam room waiting for the results. My oncologist come bursting in, waving the scan report, telling me there's absolutely nothing left. His miracle patient, and I hope to be his miracle patient for many years to come. It's been a winding road, to say the least, and lots of ups and downs, but it has given me a completely new perspective on why events like the 3-day are so important. Simply put, the drugs that are saving my life today, which is Herceptin and others like it, they weren't available when I was first diagnosed 8 years ago. They were still making their way through biotech companies' pipelines in various stages of clinical trials, and for too many people, they simply didn't make it to market in time. But they did for me, and they did for you, and they did for somebody that you love. And none of that would have been possible without the people like you and the events like this that raise the millions and millions of dollars that breast cancer research needs. And one of these days, one of those drugs is going to be the cure. About you, but I'm pretty excited about the fact that right now these drug companies have over 200 compounds in various stages of clinical trials, and these are targeted therapies like Herceptin. These are the ones that target the bad cells and leave the good ones alone. And that results in fewer side effects and better long-term outcomes and more survivors dancing with our friend Ned. That's the one we're all walking for. Now I've got to tell you a little bit about the rest of Team Thriver, the team that Greg and I walk with. I started my first breast cancer 3-day in 2004, and it was just me and my trusty Red Sox cap. In 2005, Greg was there to greet me at closing ceremonies, and in 2006, we were a team of 2. That's the first year that we walked together. And we got to camp our first night, and we were putting up our tent and got all settled in. And there were these 2 women across the way that were struggling with this flat air mattress and air pump that didn't work. And I don't know if we took pity on them or were laughing at them, but sometimes you're just supposed to be someplace when you're supposed to be there, because that's how we met Barb and Renee, who have become very close friends of ours. Barb is also an 8-year survivor. And 2 years later, we're walking as one team. The last 2 years, I've also had my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Larry and Jan, walking with us. And let me tell you, these 2 were my chemo angels. Every single week, Greg and I would go off. He sat with me every week through treatments. Every week for 21 weeks, we'd go off to Desert Oncology and sit there, and every week we'd come back to something waiting on the doorstep from Larry and Jan. 21 weeks worth, even when they were out of town. Chuck is also part of our team this year too. He was a solo walker last year. We met him on the event, and some of you may have seen him if you walked. He had this shirt on that he had made each day, a different shirt with dozens and dozens of names of people that he was walking for, walking in support of, walking in memory of, and there were just too many damn names. And this year, my cousin Scott flew out from Houston to walk this event with us. He was more like a big brother to me growing up. And today he told me this is the hardest thing he's ever had to do. And I gotta tell you, I love you, I'm glad you're here, and this is payback for all those crazy upside down rides you made me go on when we were kids. That's why I walk. I walk for them. I walk for their dedication to this cause. I walk for their dedication to me. I walk for the dream that Scott's 8-year-old little girl Sydney is gonna grow up in a world without breast cancer. Is going to give me the rest of the 50 happy years that I'm counting on with that guy over there, my husband Greg. Let me tell you, I have no doubt that's a major reason why I'm standing here driving today. Is that man? So, I'm going to wrap it up soon. A friend of mine, Andrea, I met in the chemo suite last year, and she also participated in the Survivor Circle at closing ceremonies with me last year, and she summed it up pretty well in an email that she had written as part of her fundraising. This is Andrea's quote. She said, "Please remember, this isn't about a walk. This isn't about taking 3 days to get blisters and cramps for the fun of it. The money you donate isn't to allow somebody a Friday off work. This walk is a statement of strength and determination. The money you donate is to help find a cure. Cure I would very much love to have right now." That's Andrea's quote. Andrea had signed up and intended to walk. She couldn't be here today. A couple of months after her treatment ended, she just found out her cancer's back, and instead of walking with us, she's home resting up after a double mastectomy earlier this week and getting ready to battle the beast. But her Team Hooter helpers did still walk, and we saw Andrea out on the route today. Drain's still in. She's doing great. And that's why we walk. All of our stories have different heroes and different heroines, but I'm pretty sure they all resonate with a common theme. Yet all too often, our stories don't have the endings we'd all hoped for. And it's time for more of those stories to have happy endings. I walk because it's time for us to find a cure. I walk because I fought too damn hard to get to exactly where I am right now, which is where I'm finally supposed to be. And I walk because we're gonna win. I'm Jen Hoffmann, and I walk because everyone deserves a lifetime.